Yeah, and I'll continue with it. I'll continue that with you. He can bugger off. Uphold the human rights of the people. I have an Article 10. You will be the one that is liable because you'll be the one detaining and searching. You would be the one that is liable.
Welcome back to Police Pulse UK. If you're new here, hit subscribe and join the family. Drop a like, leave a comment, and let's get straight into it. Thanks to Power to the Proletariat for allowing us to cover this police audit. Please subscribe to his channel and like his videos. The link is in the description below. Outside Mitcham police station, a chief superintendent and an inspector showed that having a high rank does not mean being good at the job. Instead of properly investigating the situation, they quickly demanded a search. They clearly saw the camera as a problem rather than a legal right, and were more interested in showing their authority. The worst part was that they tried to push the lower-ranked officers to do their dirty work, instead of taking responsibility themselves. They did not want to put their own names on a stop that had no good reason behind it. Meanwhile, the regular frontline officers actually behaved better than their bosses. They quietly did the right thing and followed the law, something the senior officers refused to do.
Pardon?
What's your name?
What's your name?
Liz.
Liz.
So I'm this police officer that's in charge
Oh,
of this
Chief Superintendent.
location.
Oh, okay, lovely.
Have you got any ID on you, please?
Why would I need ID?
Have you got any ID on you, please?
Come on
Otherwise
in.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Come on, Superintendent. You don't just go around demanding ID from the members of the public.
I'd certainly do if they're a counter-terrorism risk.
Counter-terrorism risk? What makes it a counter-terrorism risk?
Filming our officers.
As I explained to the person on the bike, I don't even know who that is.
Okay, if you...
But I'm just waiting for some marked vehicles to come in and out.
Mate, listen. You can't really be outside police stations.
Okay, before you go ahead with the search, can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
I would highly recommend that you look up a memo from the National Police Chiefs Council regarding people filming in public places, regarding social media vloggers and police stations. I would highly recommend it before you land yourself a lawsuit.
Listen.
And that's
you do what you feel comfortable with that.
You do what you got to do.
You do what
you got. I will not say now. I do not consent to any searches. I know lawfully I don't have to, but I want to make that clear.
Regardless of your ability to film things in a public setting,
right?
Obviously, you raise our awareness and our suspicion, particularly in an environment of severe CT risk.
And who are you? Sorry,
I'm Inspector Tarek.
Inspector.
When the chief superintendent demands ID and brings up counter-terrorism, she is not doing a real security check. She is putting on a performance to scare the person filming, because she has no actual legal reason to stop them. By jumping straight to such a serious accusation just because someone is filming police cars that anyone walking by can see, she shows a shocking lack of basic knowledge. This is not acceptable for someone in a senior leadership position. It becomes even more embarrassing when the person tries to educate her about the NPCC memo. This memo is the top official guidance that clearly states police have no power to stop people from taking photos or videos of any police station or building. This memo was created specifically to prevent senior officers from making exactly these kinds of unlawful stops and embarrassing the police force. The conversation then goes like this: have a warrant number. Sorry mate, listen, you're being obstructive. No, I'm not giving this up. I'm trying to get relevant information. Listen to me for a second. No, I don't have to listen to you, do I? No, you don't. Exactly. So you giving me a warrant number then?
I have a warrant number. Sorry?
Mate, listen.
Sorry,
Instead of being obstructive.
No, I'm not being obstructive. I'm trying to get relevant information.
Listen to me for a second, all right?
No, I don't have to listen to you, do I?
You don't.
Exactly.
Okay, fine.
So you give me a warrant number. Do you have a warrant number, Superintendent, please?
We're not going to engage with any further.
Listen.
Well, you are, because you're saying that you're going to search me, so you would have to give your information at that point anyway, wouldn't you?
Can you grab one of the uniform light? Yeah.
Am I being detained at this moment? Am I currently detained?
Yeah, uniforms so
No.
who are equipped and everything to do with
Okay, so I'm not detained.
Not at this precise moment.
Okay, not at this precise moment. Well, again, as I said, you've got smartphones. I would highly recommend you look up this memo.
I'm not disputing the fact that you're not allowed to film in
Absolutely.
public setting, but the fact that you're here and filming police
No,
vehicles...
but the memo clearly states that filming outside a police station is not enough grounds for a Section 43 search. Okay, and that is the key point of evidence that will win me this lawsuit.
You're not just filming outside a police station. You're filming. You've told a colleague you're filming vehicles. That's capturing the
marked
data
vehicles.
And things like that.
Marked vehicles.
Irrelevant.
No, we pay for them. Members of the public, as through our taxes, we pay for them. They're not secret information.
We can also search
They're not
you
secret.
to look into that.
No. You have to have grounds to search me.
Yeah, I do.
No. You have to have objection. So do you
out.
suspect me being a terrorist?
You're also filming people police officers coming out who are not who are not wearing uniform.
When the inspector calls the person obstructive, he is simply trying to avoid being held accountable. Labeling a regular citizen as difficult just for asking a public servant to follow the rules is the height of arrogance. It is also a complete failure of duty when the chief superintendent suddenly walks away the moment she is asked for her warrant number. She was the one who started this whole confrontation, using national security as her excuse. But the second she is expected to be transparent and follow the rules herself, she disappears. That is not leadership, that is cowardice. At the same time, the inspector continues to make a big deal about someone filming marked police cars, the same cars that can be seen on every street corner by anyone. This obsession makes no sense and shows poor judgment. These two senior officers are not protecting anyone or doing their jobs properly. Instead, they are putting on a display that clearly shows how incompetent they are. Every action they take in this encounter only makes it more obvious that they are out of their depth and unwilling to be held to the same rules they expect others to follow.
No, you're making an assumption. You're making an assumption there.
The officer just came out and said you were filming as she exited. So,
right, and do you know that I was filming her?
Well, I had that suspicion. Okay.
Okay.
And that's enough for me to look into.
It's not. That's filming in public.
Look, we can debate this all day.
It's not a debate. The memo clearly says it, and the fact that I've made you aware of this memo is going to win me the lawsuit.
Look, that's absolutely fine.
It's absolutely fine.
It's fine for you to have that opinion.
It's not an opinion. It's fact. I've already got one lawsuit against the NPS for this exact reason.
Well, look, I'm not going to debate those situations. Okay, I'm more comfortable doing a search when we've got body worn footage as well. All right.
So you're not going to detain me until the uniform gets here. You're just going to wait. At which point I could just walk away, potentially be a terrorist. As you're saying, you suspect.
It's a developing situation.
It's not, because if you genuinely suspected me of being a terrorist, you would be physically detaining me, wouldn't you?
You're being provocative, in my opinion, and I think you're doing that on purpose.
No, I'm trying to reason with you, Inspector.
You're not being reasonable because you're interrupting me non-stop. I'm trying to talk, you keep cutting.
You interrupt me as well.
The situation reaches its most ridiculous point when these two senior officers bring up terrorism but then refuse to actually detain him. This proves that their words are empty and only meant to scare him. If they truly believed he was a real national security threat, the law would require them to act immediately. There would be no waiting around. Instead, they just stand there, stalling for time and waiting for backup. The reason is simple. They are too afraid to carry out a search without other officers present who have body-worn cameras recording everything. This is not real policing. It is just delaying tactics and paperwork in action. By telling him to wait for uniformed officers to arrive, they are keeping him stuck in a situation where he has not been officially detained but also cannot freely leave. He is being held in a kind of legal gray area with no clear reason or proper authority behind it. In short, these two high-ranking officers used the most serious accusation possible, terrorism, but then lacked the confidence and legal grounds to back it up with any real action. That says everything about how weak their position actually was.
You know you used to have section 44. You don't have to talk. You don't have to talk. Do you know you used to have section 44? Do you know why that got repealed? For this exact reason, didn't it? Didn't it, Chief Superintendent?
Why are you filming us now?
Pardon?
Why?
Well, for my own protection. You just said that you're going to detain and search me. As you said, you want body-worn footage. I want my own record as well.
We want to make sure officers are safe. So we want to take.
And I want to make sure members of the public are safe from tyrants like yourselves. So if you're going to abuse section 43, I cannot stop you from doing that, obviously. And I won't resist you. I'm not going to aid you, but I won't resist you. And you will end up with a civil suit, and you will both be up on disciplinary matters. I have rights. You don't have to respond. You've said multiple times you're not going to continue engaging, yet you do. As I said, I've made you aware of the memo.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're refusing to even look it up. I've made you aware, and neither of you are making any sort of concerted effort to look up this memo, to double check the facts before you get a uniformed officer down here to detain me and search me and abuse my human rights. No, you're abusing my rights.
Pulling out a phone and doing research right now. I don't know who you are. I don't know anything.
You could get this constable to do it. You could get the chief superintendent to do it.
When the person brings up the repeal of section 44, he is pointing out a past mistake that these officers seem ready to repeat. Section 44 was scrapped precisely because it allowed police to stop people based on nothing more than a feeling or a hunch, with no real reason required. Now these two officers are trying to do the same thing using section 43, ignoring the lessons that were already learned the hard way. Instead of requiring a proper reason to stop someone, they are showing a blanket hostility toward anyone holding a camera. This is lazy and unprofessional. Their excuse for not reading the NPCC memo is even worse. They claim they do not feel safe because they do not know who he is. This is a poor excuse. There are 3 of them standing there, all senior officers, yet they are completely thrown off simply by the presence of someone who knows his rights. They cannot even carry out a basic document check or search on their own. That is not a safety issue. That is a confidence issue and a competence issue. This brings us to some exciting news. A new partnership is coming that could not have arrived at a better time, especially given what is currently happening in the UK.
Remember your oath? Do either of you remember your oath? No, I doubt that you do you?
We're not going to do this.
You don't have to, but I can still talk and I can still ask questions.
Okay.
Neither of you remember your oath. You swore an oath to the crown of this country to uphold the human rights of the people. I have an Article 10 right to exercise my freedom of expression. That's exactly what I'm doing.
You don't have the right to film police officers.
I absolutely do. Anywhere in a public place, yes I do. So you're going to come, you're going to come and get a uniform to come with a body-worn camera who has the right to record me, but I don't have the right to record you.
Recording us.
Yeah, but she just said I don't have the right to. Which I absolutely... You just said you don't have the right to record police officers.
You've raised our suspicions that
You're raising my suspicions right now of absolute tyrannical constables. And it's disgusting that it's a superintendent and an inspector. Absolutely despicable. Now, obviously, I've just heard the inspector say that it's down to you and it is ultimately your decision whether to do the search. As such, if you detain me and search me, you will be the one that is liable because you'll be the one detaining and searching. You would be the one that is liable under the IOPC complaint procedures for disciplinary and dismissal, okay? So I would advise that, yes, your superiors are suggesting that you do something, but I would suggest that you have some common sense, at least look up this memo before you take any further action. I'm not going to go anywhere. It's ultimately responsible for your actions as a constable. And they don't have the balls to detain me and search me themselves.
When the person brings up the oath of attestation, he is reminding these officers of the promise they made when they joined the police. That promise includes serving the public with fairness, honesty, and respect for basic human rights. So when the chief superintendent flatly lies and claims there is no right to film police, she is directly breaking that oath. She is not confused or mistaken. She is deliberately trying to make him believe something that is simply not true under the law. Then a uniformed officer arrives, and it becomes clear what the senior officers have been doing. They have been waiting for someone else to do their dirty work. By sending a junior officer in to carry out something that has no legal basis, they are putting that officer in a very unfair position. He must either follow an unlawful order from his superiors or refuse and risk facing trouble for it. The senior officers are essentially using their own colleague as a shield. They are happy to let a lower-ranked officer put his career and reputation on the line just to protect themselves from the consequences of their own poor decisions. This is not leadership. Real leaders take responsibility. What these senior officers are doing is the opposite. They are hiding behind their rank while pushing others into the firing line. When the person brings up the oath of attestation, he is reminding these officers of the promise they made when they joined the police. That promise includes serving the public with fairness, honesty, and respect for basic human rights. So when the chief superintendent flatly lies and claims there is no right to film police, she is directly breaking that oath. She is not confused or mistaken. She is deliberately trying to make him believe something that is simply not true under the law. Then a uniformed officer arrives, and it becomes clear what the senior officers have been doing. They have been waiting for someone else to do their dirty work. By sending a junior officer in to see.
Obviously free to film whatever you want. Right?
Absolutely, thank you, I appreciate that.
The only issue comes when you're filming officers not in uniform, leaving in their personal...
But again, you're making assumptions that that's what I'm doing.
I'm not making an assumption or anything.
Exactly.
I'm just saying that the problem stands when that thing happens.
But again, that's not illegal, is it?
Up until then...
It's not illegal to do that. I can record every personal vehicle coming in and out. And you can ask questions. I don't like the fact that...
What we're here doing.
But I don't like the fact that... No. Yeah, but we are, but they weren't. I'm fussed about it. I had the chief superintendent and an inspector threaten me with a section 43 search. They should know about the memo. They are like the highest ranking constables. No, I can't.
With the section 43, that's underneath the terrorism.
Sure.
If we feel like what your actions are doing would pose a personal risk to any officer.
It's not an offence to film anybody's registration plate, personal or private. I'm having a conversation with the constable. You can bugger off. No, I'm done with you. You didn't want to talk to me. Now I don't want to talk to you. No, not to him. To you, I will be. Because yeah, and I'll continue with it. I'll continue that with you. He can bugger off. I'm done with him. There are specific grounds under Section 43 that you need to have. Pardon? That's not my job to tell you that. More thing, I don't think any of you let me know you were recording me. Obviously, that is in your policies. I literally looked that up this morning as well, and it's literally like the first paragraph of the first section that you do have to verbally announce so that it's not covert. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to my side of it and not just the inspectors.
The way this encounter ended speaks volumes about the senior officers at Mitcham Police Station. While the chief superintendent and inspector were busy throwing their weight around and using terrorism as a scare word, it was the regular uniformed officers who actually behaved professionally. These frontline officers understood that a camera is not a weapon and that you need real, factual reasons to be suspicious of someone, not just a bruised ego. They did the right thing by asking questions and investigating properly rather than jumping straight to using stop and search powers. However, even the junior officers made a mistake. They failed to tell the person that they were recording him with their body-worn cameras. Under Pace Code A and College of Policing guidelines, officers are required to inform people when body-worn cameras are switched on. This is not optional. It is a clear procedural rule designed to ensure transparency and prevent secret or hidden policing. In the end, the fact that the person walked away without being searched or detained is a complete embarrassment for the chief superintendent and the inspector. They spent the entire encounter making threats, showing off their rank, and pushing the work onto others, only for their own junior officers to arrive and find absolutely nothing wrong. IT says everything when the officers with the highest rank have the least understanding of the law. If you found this breakdown useful, please like the video, share it, and subscribe to help keep this kind of accountability going. This was Police Pulse UK. See you next time.